have to do this right here at this. So that is good. Okay, awesome sauce. Thumbs up. Oh, wow. Look at there. No, it's full and sealed. Water. So, good morning, you guys. I want you guys to think about like the portion. We're going into marriage and family, which is pretty. It's the in depth, right? The what we are behind closed doors, where we are most comfortable, what we look like when no one's watching. Oh, okay. There. I was like, I was like, wait, I have a mic, but it's not. I don't hear the echo. Okay, thumbs up. If we belong to God, our homes should look different, right? We should be built different, and the insides of our houses, our homes, what we call our family, should be different. So, this lesson is the whole lesson is about Christ-like conduct, right? This is not about control. It's not about superiority. So we're going to kind of do that and review 1 Peter 3, 1 through 7. So we'll go to the next slide. Boop. This is where we are in the sequence on the series map. We only have Demetrius will teach the next one, and we'll have one more month to go. And we'll wrap everything up. Just to kind of reiterate, we went through our identity, the hope on where we lie those things, the holiness, our speech and love, the desires that we have, respect, and now we're looking at focusing on our families and our marriages. So I want you to ask this question. So where is it hardest to live built different? The home, work, or during a conflict? Where is it hardest to be built different, to live that Christian life, that consistent, the commitment that it is being a Christian? Where's the hardest place for it? And it's rhetorical, right? Because each of us, like it's sometimes our work kind of brings that, oh cool, I'm out in front of everybody, I'm a shining light. We can go to, in a conflict, Jesus died for me, they love it, person pulls out in front of you on El Paso, Jesus loves you too, that thing. Or when we get comfortable and we sit down and we start watching television, or my son doesn't take the trash out when he sees it overflowing, and I've told him 1,000 times to do it. Or doing laundry requires you folding at the end, not just leaving it in a basket. So so home is where faith becomes visible, right? Church can show our language. Home reveals our character. The people closest to us often see who we really are. Like underneath all of the masks, underneath all of the stuff, they're the ones, when you get home and you start scrubbing the makeup off. If you wear makeup, that's what all of us do. I put on all of this stuff when I went outside the house, but when, in the words of my wife, I want to get home so I can take my bra off.
You're lucky she's not here.
Oh no, she's gonna watch it, and I'm gonna laugh. She was like, no, I'm not going to do it when I go out. And I'm like, okay, well, fine. But that's like where you want to relax, where you want to put your guard down, where you want to feel most comfortable is at the house, at home, around those individuals that you love. However, when we open up and we take off all of those things and we become comfortable, how are we still demonstrating that we're built different, that we have this, that we're, our home is where like we have that patience, the honor, atone, forgiveness, consistency, and where we have that and where it's tested. So here's the big idea. So Christians' homes should reflect that, right? The list that I went over, the reflect honor, humility, purity, and understanding. This lesson is not about power. It's about Christian-like conduct before God. When you go to your house and you close your door, God no longer sees you. That's your house. I'm in private. I've just went, nope, this is my house. I bought it with my money. I'm renting it from whoever. This is my domain. God is no longer watching me. Man. Some of us wish that was true. But guess what? It's not. He sees us everywhere. He sees us when I'm in my car, when I'm at my house, when I'm frustrated. He sees me all of the time. So if you guys could, please turn with me to 1 Peter chapter 3. And we're going to read verses 1 through 7. Someone else want to read it? Because we have a mic that's running around. Do you guys? Thank you, Gina.
Which verse is it?
It's 1 through 7.
Likewise, wives, be subject to your own husbands, so that even if some do not obey the word, they may be won without a word by the conduct of their wives, when they see your respectful and pure conduct. Do not let your adorning be external, the braiding of hair, the putting on of gold jewelry, or the clothing you wear, but let your adorning be the hidden person of the heart, with the imperishable beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which in God's sight is very precious. For this is how the holy women who hoped in God used to adorn themselves, by submitting to their own husbands, as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord. And you are her children if you do good and do not fear anything that is frightening. Likewise, husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way, showing honor to the woman as the weaker vessel, since they are heirs with you of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered.
So I want you guys to look at that, right? And I know what are the first words that show up? And it's like, oh, they're submissive, or submissive to your own husband, or there's when we pick up these things, but there are other key words here, like how to conduct ourselves. There's like honor. There is, like in the version that I was looking at, you have another conduct, which is character, right? So it is pulling on those portions. And we really need to look at like some of those ways, because if we start looking at the words that we pick up on that upset everybody, wives, be submissive to your own husbands, so that even if any of them are disobedient to the word, they may be won without word, but by behavior and the character of their wives. So when we start looking at this, right, it isn't about like nitpicking, right? It's overall character building, right? The same way that Peter has emphasized, okay, this is what we look like in those standards of love. This is what we should look like and what we should desire and what we should feed ourselves. This is where he is refining that portion within the family. Where he's setting those not blocks, but showing how Christ would effectively treat individuals within that family unit. So this is not about control, not about abuse, and it's Christ-like conduct. So this is not about like being overpowering. You guys remember Christ when he was washing the feet during the Last Supper, and he was washing the feet, and Peter was like, "I'm going to wash your feet. You shouldn't wash mine. It's not right." And he was like, "No, the least among you will be the greatest." He's like, "Well, and if I don't wash your feet, you're not going to come with it." He was like, "Oh, then wash my feet and wash my head." He's like, "You don't need a bath, Peter. Don't stop. You cleaned yourself. Let me show you this." Right? Because normally it was a servant that came out and washed the feet of those individuals because, they didn't have cool kicks. They didn't have their cool tinnies. Right? They walked everywhere. They were on dirt roads. So to keep the house clean, you wash the feet of those individuals, the guests of those people, to take the dirt out of their street and keep it from mixing with the dirt that was in the house. Fun stuff. But he's calling believers to be faithful to this conduct. It's not a license to abuse someone. It's not a license to control someone. It's not a license to neglect someone or spiritual manipulation. Peter is teaching Christian-like conduct in a difficult context. I think we just had a conversation. My favorite thing is to call someone boss. That's what I do. Like, "Hey, boss. Hey, boss." Demetrius and Lonnie were like, "I thought you just said I was the boss." I was like, "You're both the bosses." The Christian-like conduct is that of submission. Right? This is not my world. This is all of theirs. I have been selected and set apart from. My home is the kingdom of heaven. I'm an ambassador here. Everybody else are citizens of the world. I want you to come to my kingdom, but I've won. I want you to win too. I want you to come with me. Open citizenship, it's available. But that's not the point, right? We're supposed to be submission. And he's showing that line of custody of the submissiveness. So Peter addresses wives in a specific setting, but principle applies broadly, right? So with a conduct matter, right? Our faith should be visible in how we treat people that are closest to us. So, what does that look like? I have a mute button. So does that mean that I need to be overpowering? Does that mean that I'm going to seek to be greater than those people that I love? When we look back to Genesis, right, and you look at man was created, right, and God looked at Adam and he said, It is not good for you to be alone. So he created, do you guys remember the key phrase there? Like in the New King James and then the King James, they call it helpmate.
Yep.
And I tell you right now, Tiffany's my helpmate. I probably wouldn't have been, I probably wouldn't be standing here today because I make some really, I think Vincent can validate that when you're standing in the pool with a chainsaw and short shorts and cutting tree limbs, it's like, stop. This is, you're about to become a factor of natural selection of your own choices. Vincent, we probably should stop doing this, and you need to re-engage a different direction. She is my helpmate. Where I lack, she picks up. And if I don't establish that, now, does that mean that I negate that responsibility? I need your help. And that's a relationship thing, right? So it makes sure. So our faith should be visible in how we treat people closest to us. Peter is condemning. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Gina, my bad.
No, I was just going to add, you mentioned the word helpmate, and I think the Hebrew word under that is azer, and if you look in other places in the Bible, God is described as, or the word azer is used for God. So, thinking about the relationship between man and woman, and sometimes that word helpmate is, by women maybe, it's looked down on a little bit,
No.
like it's less, but God certainly isn't less. And so, I think that helps when you're looking at that idea of submission to one another. It's not a position, it's just a relationship.
That's exactly right. It's not like a chain of command. Because we're going to, the one that gives me goosebumps, I just got goosebumps. It's one of those things, and we'll get to it. Like it is that dual heirs, right? You both are going to the same place. You're both, like right now, like you've earned, or not earned, you've been given the same reward. So if and I've got a whole thing about it, so we'll get to it. Just stick with me. We'll get there. And it is true, right? So silly little man, I'm going to help guide you through this obstacle, all right? And if I follow God and follow what his advice is and what he tells me to do, then guess what? I will be successful. Otherwise, I'm in a pool with a chainsaw and shorts being like, hey, Vincent, that's probably not the best idea. Thanks. Appreciate it, honey. You're right. I should probably get safety glasses. And that's what I look at, right? And that's who I am. If it wasn't for Tiffany, she's my helpmate. I do the things, I don't negate those responsibilities, but she's there to fill in the gaps, the things that my brain just, you know what? That's not important. Vincent, no, that's important. Okay, got it.
And also making statements like, I know you said we were going to do this. I know you said we were going to do this. Is that? Oh, don't touch me. I know you said you were going to do this or X, Y, Z, but have you thought about doing QRS first?
Yeah.
And not negating what your plan was, but offering you an option.
And it goes to that portion in love as well, right? And there's a way to approach every discussion in love. It must be received in love, and it must be given in love. Yeah, Vincent, I know you wanted to get after it, but there's probably some steps that you want to look at, because I definitely, it needs to get done or whatever, but I love you, and I want you to stay around in perpetuity. So how about not go do that? Yep, I got you. I wasn't thinking about that. It has to be given in love and received in love. Well, you can't, and that dynamic change when you're like, you can't tell me what to do. Can anybody? There are consequences to all those decisions. We're like, oh. Or, I don't have to do what you say. I'm an adult. I can make adult decisions. Sure you can. She builds my fence for me. So she is my helpmate, right? Godly character is precious before God. So when we start looking at this, how do I show that with my wife goes, I'm the weaker vessel. I was like, yep, thumbs up. I got you. You're fine. Okay. And I have to look at that. Sometimes we have to prioritize these things, right? Our outward appearance is temporary. That godly character is what God sees, right? What we develop on the inside, how I treat the ones that are closest to me. That's what God sees, not the rough exterior and the scars and the makeup that I put on when I go outside, and all of the masks I put on when I go to Walmart or go to wherever. Like, he sees when I shut my door. He sees those avenues, and that's where we really need to look at it, right? So this one's going to hit home. What does our home preach? Because every bit of us demonstrates, like, what lesson, if someone came into your house, what lesson is the interactions between your family members teaching? So, yeah, no.
Yeah, if you come to my house, since I live with my mom's really judgmental about how you are and everything. So if you come to my house, my mom probably will end up judging you for how you look, or how you dress, or how you. She won't say it to your face. Once you leave the house, she'll tell me, why'd you bring that person? I don't like that person. I don't know how he looks. I'm like, to know him first.
And that's not, it's not just what we say, right? It's how we interact with those individuals. I like that. Like, it's not about it. I want you guys to, like, start looking, because I don't know what's, like, Javi, I appreciate it, but again, I don't know what happens when you notice that, okay, cool, when guests come over, I have to get ready. I have to make sure, and Tiffany's, I have to put a bra on. I have to, you know what I'm saying? I have to put makeup on. I have to get ready. I have to make sure that the house is clean and the trash is out. All of the things. Well, we don't live like that. We have to make sure guests are coming over. This is what well, when the guests leave, what happens? Go right back to what we were doing before. What would be the sermon title when I gotta get ready, and then, did you brought over a smelly friend, or, whatever, did you see what he was wearing Crocs and sweatpants, like, uncoordinated, or whatever else that we say when we're behind closed doors, when the friends have left. that's when we relax. That's what the tone is. That's how that, like, what it looks like. That we've opened up and exposed the rawness of it. And again, I don't know. This is what happens, like what happens at my house, what happens at Alta's house, what happens at Gina's house, what happens at Adam's house and Demetrius's house. I don't know that. That's what we assume is private. But how many secrets do we have from God? We can close the doors, we can shut the blinds. I can even turn off all the lights. You're not hiding. He sees that. He sees those interactions. And this is that self-reflection. This is like, okay, well, where do I? Yep, Shelby, go ahead.
I think it's also important to look at the priorities, because if you're in your own home and you're comfortable, are you prioritizing isolating yourself away from even your family and closing your door, or I'm in my office, I'm working, or are you prioritizing the connection and relationship with, like, making sure that you're in a comfortable position, or your family's, like, you're reaching out to the people in your own home in your relaxed state, or is it like tense in the home? Are you prioritizing keeping the peace and staying away from, okay.
Yeah, I think it's me. Yes, it is definitely me. No, priorities is important. Is like, well, if I come home from work and I go directly to my video game, or if I go directly, yeah, it's one of those things. Like if I went in and I kicked my shoes off, shut the door, blocked everything out, and went straight to doing me things, am I working on that I say, oh, well, I want a relationship and I want to increase the thing, or if I'm looking at, I want a better relationship with God, or all of these things we say when we're like when we put on our makeup, when we get ready for guests, when we go home. Where's our priorities? What is it? Am I going to my office? Because again, it's one of those things like, yes, is that important? Is it important right now, or is it important all of the time? Yeah, yes, productively procrastinating.
I think an important aspect of this as well is for church leadership. Because it says, how do you operate your home? Does your home operate in dysfunction? And if so, then you're ineligible for church leadership, right? So keeping your home in good working order, taking care of your children and raising them right is important, not only for yourselves, but if you're going to be responsible for other people, it is. I remember I went to a friend's house, and we joke about like cleaning up and everything before a guest came over. They did not do that. It was really gross. But then also what was funny is that the dynamic was changed too. I knew them from church and we talked and this and that, but in their home, it was like, oh, they're yelling at each other for like no reason. So it was like almost an insight into some of that dysfunction, and they were not like pastors or leadership or anything like that for that previous comment, but or how we run our homes can have implications on more than just our homes, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, like that, so I can expose a little, like all of mine, right? Me and Venson, we argue all of the time, every bit of it. But it's that like my priorities as I was coming up weren't the best, I wasn't always in Bible study. I wasn't always whatever. I was still maturing. And it is the cracks in the mortar of the house you have built that now is exposed. That you're like, oh man, how do I fix this? Because the foundation's already laid. And that's where it comes out as, a heated discussion, but it's in love. Like, how do I fix this? Because I'm running out of time. Because Vincent's, he just turned 19 on the 15th, right? Like, you're an adult now. How do I fix this? How do I get your priorities straight? And it self-reflects, and it's like you have that self-examination of, I missed my chance. What was my priorities when he was, 11 and 12, coming up? Well, this is my fault. This is what I have built. And that's where where it shows, like, oh man, how do I fix this? Sometimes it's with a hammer. Sometimes it's with a feather. It's like, I need you to get on par, and that, like, that's the underbelly. That's the quickness, and it. Not only do I escalate, Vincent escalates, and we're saying the same thing, but we're just speaking two different languages. Because I didn't prioritize. That's the cracks in the mortar. That's what Peter's warning when we shut the door. Guess what? You're not going to be able to hide forever. You're not going to be, like, some of that stuff's going to overflow. Some of that stuff's going to show, like, when guests come over and be like, it'll be the way that it is. It's fine. I quit. That's the thing, is if our priorities aren't straight, if our conduct isn't there, if we're not demonstrating those things, well, mom and dad didn't do it. If you're teaching submission, if you're teaching, I'm a helpmate. If I know that mom is showing love to dad by helping him, I could definitely go in the backyard. Nothing to stop me. He's a grown man, and he can definitely just be like, guess what? He's a grown man. He's gonna do what he wants. If that's the relationship, what does that demonstrate to my daughter? What does that demonstrate to my son? What does that demonstrate to the guest that he's going to do whatever he wants to do? Or, let me go fix this. Thanks for letting me know. It shows that relationship is both that you're establishing a good pattern of, guess who I have to submit to? God, the government, the leaders. We'll go into, I don't want to step on Demetrius's lesson. Like, if that pattern of submission is not established through all the facets, and it's a constant power struggle of one trying to get up on top of the other, that's not Christ-like. That's not the way that that's supposed to be built. So. Husbands are commanded to be understanding, built different by honor. Peter gives husbands a direct command to live in understanding and honor. This is not options. This is Christian leadership. It never means to be selfish. It doesn't mean that I get to control it all. Once your kids get up a little bit, there's very little bit, they're adults. They're going to make their own decisions. have two of them. You know, they're going to make their own decisions. They're going to make their own choices. They're going to do their own thing. And my time's up. That training time is over. Now I have to live, like not now I have to live it by example. If I had not been living by an example, guess what? It's too late at that point. I like that. She is a fellow, what's that last one? You guys can read these, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I was like, I can see it. I'm always worried about the font because it looks so good here. I don't know. She is a fellow heir in grace. What does that mean?
That the promises to both husband and wife.
You mean it doesn't? Yeah, the promise comes from both. Like you're both going to the kingdom of heaven. Well, if I don't go, you don't go. Your path to salvation is through. No, it didn't say that either. There's some doctrines that, well, you've got to wait on me. There's an equality to this that we miss out on so much. Why do you think Peter, your fellow heirs? Because so often those first couple verses are manipulated to the point where you better submit. Go ahead. Yeah, Jeremy. Actually, Lizzie.
So this is a little bit off topic, but this is to the beginning of the verse. So she says, "Tell Vincent that I said, I appreciate that Paul makes it clear that we are the weaker vessel, because
Love it.
if you were to treat me like how you treat your guy friends, the way you joke and the way you guys hug super hard and the way you reprimand someone at work would make me cry, and it would really hurt me. So I appreciate that Peter is making it clear that you have to treat your wife differently than how you treat a man. So I don't treat my coworkers with gentleness and reverence. That does not happen. I treat my wife very much in that way, and she appreciates the difference.
Yeah, it is. We're fellow heirs. It doesn't mean we have both of the same path.
And
Right.
she says it would also be damaging to our marriage if you did.
Thanks, Lizzie. Appreciate it. But that's one of the things is that, like, we're co-heirs. There's not one above the other. There's not whatever. It's submission. It's almost a battle at that point, being like, nope, I can do this for you. Nope, I can do this for you. Nope, I can do this for you. And if you're both trying to serve each other, guess what? Things get done. If it is a battle to get under each other, look at the way the dynamic changes.
It kind of boomerangs back to verse 1, where in like the second part of verse 1, it says that even if some do not obey the word, that without the word may be won by the conduct of their wives. So it's saying the same thing, just on the husband side, because the goal is the same. You know, if your wives don't believe, then you believe so that they believe. And if your husbands don't believe, you believe so that they may believe.
So we're both examples. I like this. I do think it's a competition, just not a competition of who wins. I think it's I like the competition, but it's like, how can I serve you? How do I honor you? And how can I submit to you? Yay.
I think so much of this boils down to respect. We need to respect the place that our husband is in the home, as he needs to respect our place in the home. We need to respect their feelings and their opinions. That doesn't mean we always have to agree, but respect goes a long way in having a happy home.
So that last portion, we're adding it, right? So that way everybody understands where everybody is, trying to get those portions, mold everything together. Each dynamic's going to be different, but if we put if we have the mindset of Christ, we're going to be trying to figure out like where we fit, right? Where can I serve? Where can I make this dynamic better? How can I do that? And you're not going to do it on your own because, oh yeah, by the way, she's a co-heir or I'm a co-heir. I want to get your opinion. How do you see this playing out? So this is those portions. Like the husband must see his wife as equal recipient to God's grace and treat her with that honor and respect. God gave you the same gift he gave me. I haven't earned any, the story of the talons, remember? Well, I've worked for longer in the field. Well, I did. You all got the same. Be grateful that they came. Be accepting that we're both co-heirs. We got the same gift. We're at the same level. Stop arguing about it. In God's eyes, we're the same. We have different roles, and they should be respected, but that's it. So Christians are not called to blend. The world should see different spirit in how we practice honor, forgiveness, patience, love in the home. So these are some things that we need to look at. Where should Christ be seen? I have speech. Do I honor Christ in my words? In conflict, do I pursue peace? In leadership, do I serve first? In consistency, am I the same at home when I take my makeup off that I am in front of everyone else? So this is the challenge to you guys. So Christian home should preach Christ, right? Should not preach me. It should not preach conflict. It should not preach, a power struggle. It should preach Christ. This week, I want you to complete this sentence. This week I will practice honor by apology, patience, listening, encouragement, service, prayer, change. Get that, right? Start with one visible act of Christ-like love and let it grow from there. So I appreciate all the comments and all the stuff. I appreciate it. Thumbs up. And the lesson is yours. Thank you so much.